everyone! Welcome back to Matthaei at Home. I'm Megan, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own ice ornaments to decorate your garden. Well, we are well and truly in the middle of a good Michigan winter. The days are short and cold, and we only get to see the sun every once in a while. At least we get snow too, although there's none on the ground right now. Although our world looks very different than it did 6 months ago, that doesn't mean that we still can't get outside. Tomorrow we'll get outside to gather some nature cuttings to make our very own ice ornaments, which will look beautiful in our gardens or porches or whatever backyard space you have. And that way we'll get a glimpse of everything vibrant that winter still has to offer. Like usual, we're only going to need a few materials to make this craft, and most of them we're going to find outside. You're going to want to make sure to grab some yarn or string, a pencil or an otherwise small round pointy object like this, some water, and a shallow flat dish like a cake tin or a ramekin, which is what I'll be using, and some saran wrap. Once you have all your materials gathered, let's head outside and begin foraging. I think the big thing here is because it's winter, we want to try to incorporate some color into our ornaments. So I'm going to keep an eye out for things like pine needles, maybe some really nice branches, and any berries that I can find still hanging on. Although this isn't something that we can incorporate into our ornaments, one of my favorite things to notice when I'm outside in the winter is all of the birds' nests. Now that the leaves have fallen from most of the trees, we can finally see all the nests that were hidden up in the branches all summer long. You might have even noticed some hanging nests like these, where Baltimore Orioles, a really popular bird, like to nest. And the best thing is that come spring, we know that all the birds that migrated away for the winter will come back and return to these sites. Yet, you may have noticed that not all of the birds have migrated away for the winter. In fact, we have a lot of really cute bird species here in Michigan that stay all year long. Although it's really cold and there's much less food for them to eat this time of year, they have some really clever strategies to survive the cold Michigan winter. Some species of birds will actually huddle together in flocks to stay warm, like crows do this. Other birds, like the cedar waxwing, will stay here all winter long looking for berries left on the trees. Because of this, we should definitely remember to be careful when we take berries because we don't want to take all of them away from the birds that need them. If you're interested in learning more about birds in winter, feel free to check out some of these really amazing graphics that we have on the Matthaei website. I'll link them below in the description so you can access them if you're interested. Once you've gathered your materials for your ornaments, we're ready to create them. So these ornaments are a breeze to build, they're really easy, however, it does take some time to wait for the water to freeze. Before we get started, I think it's really important to mention that you need to pay attention to the weather to make these ornaments. Since water requires the temperature to be below freezing, which is at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, it has to be this cold outside for your ornaments to freeze and stay frozen. You can also make them ahead of time and freeze them in your own freezer at home, and then bring them outside when the weather is cold enough. However, it's really important to note that if you look at the forecast and see the weather is going to be above freezing, this means our ornaments outside will probably melt. These are not a permanent craft, however, they're incredible because they're so fun to make, and we can keep making them again and again to keep enjoying the winter bounty. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna use my mold, which I'm using a little white ramekin, and I'm gonna fill it up with water. Not too much because then it'll be too heavy, so I would keep it just under an inch. And then I'm going to place my nature cuttings inside and start to rearrange them how I want them to look. You can see like this pine needle, I didn't like how the needles were sticking out of the water, so I trimmed them so that they would be better submerged into the ice. So once I place it back into the water, I just kind of fiddle with them until I'm happy with how they're laid out, but obviously you can see they're just kind of floating and skating around in the water, which is no big deal. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to use my saran wrap to cover the opening of the dish. And then this is just to keep in place the pencil, which will help us freeze a hole into our ice ornament that we can later on wind the string through, which I'll show you. So once I have the saran wrap securely on, and you could also use a strip of tape, I'm going to puncture a hole with my pencil and then have it hang out in here, but as you can see, my hole is a little bit too big, so I ended up using the hole in my scissors to get the pencil to stay upright. So I'll see you back when this is frozen. Alright, so first things first, gotta remove that saran wrap. And now I have to figure out how to get this ice out of this ramekin. So using the pencil, I was able to pull the ice from the dish pretty easily. And then the hard part was just getting the pencil out of the ice. It just took a little finagling and a little bit of arm grease, but then eventually I was able to pull it free. So now we have this beautiful ice disc with a wonderful hole in it, and we're just going to take a piece of our string, or our yarn, whatever you want to use, and wind that through the hole in our ice ornament. And then we just want to knot the ends like this. And then our ornament will be ready to hang from whatever outdoor space we have. Although it might not last forever, this is a really fun craft that reminds us of the beauty of winter. Once it melts, this means that it's another warm day for us to go outside again, and maybe we can collect even more materials for our next ice ornaments. And we can keep doing this again and again until spring finally arrives. Even though it's cold, it's important to still find time to try to get outside and enjoy everything that's happening out here, even when it looks pretty frozen. Crafts like these help us to get outside and remember the beauty of winter. I love looking at my little ice ornament from outside my window. It looks especially beautiful brightening up my little backyard. I hope that you enjoyed creating ice ornaments with me today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to come check out the other Matthaei at Home videos or come visit the trails and conservatories here in person. I hope that you can visit soon. Good.